No two of us have the same experiences. So how can we possibly experience time the same when our lives are completely different? What if the secret to the fountain of youth was so simple? It was within the palm of your hands, within your grasp, within your reach, within your thinking. I'd like to introduce to you some way to look at time, a secret ingredient. The ingredient would actually make a difference. How about we picture ourselves differently? You ever wonder why trees live so long? Count the years like we do. They count rings. They count revolutions around. How many times around? Now, just because you're 25, 15, 50, 60, 70 plus, did you circle the block that many times? What if you only circled the block 20 times, even though you're 75 years old? What if you viewed it differently? See, we count our time based on the earth, but the earth is billions of years old. So we're counting our time based on the earth circulating the sun, but what are we circulating? You ever think about that? What if it's different for us all? Is there a set age when you're supposed to crawl? Is there a set age when you're supposed to walk? Now, I know some of you are early learners, or some of you might be late bloomers. But were you really a late bloomer or an early learner? What if it was just your time? And what is your time was not based off of how many revolutions the earth went around the sun, but its energies, frequencies, and vibrations. Nikola Tesla sparked my brain. He says, when we approach the world as energies, frequencies, and vibrations, we'll unlock in 10 years what took 100 years to unlock, and start to see in terms of energies, frequencies, and vibrations. We will unlock in 10 years what took 100 years to unlock. Imagine us approaching our age from an energy, a frequency, a vibration. You ever look at some men, women? They tend to age better than others. It's almost like a car. It's got the miles of a 10-year-old vehicle. Have some of you been driven harder? Some of you have not driven as hard? I can relate. I'm one where there's been some years where, yeah, I was driven pretty hard those years. And some other years tend to just cruise on by. Why do we count them the same? Because each year we are here completely different. There's no one day the same as the next. No two of us have the same experiences. So how can we possibly experience time the same when our lives are completely different? No two people living the exact amount of days, hours, minutes. Let's look at it from an energy, a frequency, a vibration standpoint. Consider yourself like a tree. A tree doesn't count how many times the earth revolves around the sun and considers its age based off of that. Now, I'm not sitting here saying lie on your birth certificate and trying to change our governmental system or anything like that. A spiritual way to look at it. My folks, fortunately for me, they age very well. I've seen them, and heck, there's people my age that don't look as good as my folks do. Kudos to them, they made some choices. Genetics worked out. It's also a state of mind. It's how they approach it. It's how they look at it. I seldom hear my parents speak on their age. Mine never gets old. I can do the things that I was doing in my youth, but better in my latter age. They actually are convinced that, yeah, they are better today in their latter age as a senior. There's this one man I seen on YouTube. He's competing in fitness contests at age 60 something. He was out of shape his entire life. Sometime around his late 50s, he decided to get himself in the best shape as he can be. And now he's winning all these different competitions. Yoga poser. You might have seen him. don't recall the name, but this man is posing for yoga, and it's just amazing, his body transformation, so youthful, vibrant. Imagine if we approach age and time differently, what the outcome would be. We would need some technology to help us when it comes to expanding our lives forever. But what if you can expand your life by 20, 30 years? And not just 20, 30 years of hard living, but 20, 30 good years. What if we hit age 40, 50, and you don't have to keep aging? What if you hit a certain plateau and you don't have to decline? Who said you had to decline? And I've read it in stories in the ancients, and if I'm not mistaken, even in the Bible, it speaks of Moses and a couple other ancient prophets. And they said they never lost their sight. I think even Father Abraham, they say, never lost his sight. His eyes never grew dim. Sarah had a baby at the age of like 70. 70. Yeah. Did they count time differently back then? Did they approach it differently?